Hello guys and gals, and welcome to another episode of Rune Words. Today we're going to be looking at the rune word Rain. Rain is a druid-only rune word, with the +2 to druid skills, but it does have some other interesting uses on non-druid characters, and we'll talk about that. Right off the bat, you can see that it has a mal rune in it, and that mal rune does make it moderately expensive, so to keep that in mind, that it's not exactly a super cheap rune word, and making it just simply for testing purposes, you might look at that mal rune and be like, I think I'll just pass. But I'm going to explain this rune word together today with Mr. NiNi. What's up, Mr. NiNi? How's you doing? You want to say hi to everybody? You want to hide in my shorts? You don't want to hide in my shorts? He's so silly. So the rain armor has some very interesting effects. Most notably is the Cyclone Armor. The Cyclone Armor is a straight damage absorption of fire, lightning, and cold damage only. So physical damage and magic damage will get through this shield, so keep that in mind. And it is essentially just flat absorption. Level 15, it has a absorption of 208, and if you were to have the synergies for this particular skill, which are Twister, Tornado, and Hurricane, that would be 7% damage per level, and it does actually affect the proc on the armor. So you would be looking at somewhere around 1,000 elemental damage absorb, which is pretty much just 1,000 free hit points. Keep in mind that Cyclone Armor doesn't have a duration, so if it procs, you've got that damage absorb for the entire the entire game essentially until you take 208 elemental damage, and there is a chance it can reproc and refresh itself. So that's very nice as well. And I think that that this is just a really strong defensive mechanic, just having something proc when you get hit. So you're constantly getting hit, and you're constantly proccing Cyclone Armor, and Cyclone Armor is constantly absorbing elemental damage. So very nice. We also have level 15 Twister. Whoa. What's the matter, buddy? Something spooked the crap out of him. Did you see him run around my head like a little... He went around in like 2 circles. What's the matter, buddy? What's the matter? Here. Come on. Get in here. I got you. You're safe in there. Stay. Scaredy Chinchilla. No, stay in there. Be good. We also have level 15 Twister, and level 15 Twister is a micro stun. It doesn't really matter about the level of Twister because the damage is awful. Even at level 15, I think it's like 50 damage. It's 3 little twisters that come out, and the 3 little twisters that come out are going to deal 50 damage each. But what's really important about the twisters is they will micro stun for 0.4 seconds. So any monster that is hit by the twisters gets stopped in their tracks, gets interrupted, and will be stuck for 0.4 seconds, which is very, very useful. Trust me. So think about this armor, these 2 procs on this armor, as highly defensive mechanics. So when you're out in in the game and you're just running around getting beat down by monsters, and you see the effects proc, they are going to help you stay alive. So we've got the Cyclone Armor, and we've got the Twisters that are going to be proccing when we're in danger. And as a Hurricane Druid, if you guys have ever played a Hurricane Druid before, Hurricane Druids tend to be very much on the side of in the thick of it. Their abilities, the Tornado ability and their other ability, the what's it called? Hurricane, are kind of crappy in the way that they work. And so they don't necessarily allow you to stay at range because Hurricane has a kind of a very small range, and the monsters need to be in the Hurricane to be taking the damage. The monsters also need to be closer to you when you're casting your twisters, just simply because the twisters tend to be very, very erratic in their pathing. So you tend to be very close to the monsters when you are attacking them, and having some defensive mechanics like this is definitely nice to have, along with +2 to skills is going to increase your overall damage. And as you can see here, my Cyclone Armor procced, and of course he's firing fire damage at me, so he was able to kill my procced Cyclone Armor, which is fine. That's exactly what it's for. It's just there to absorb elemental damage. And as you can see, it has reprocced again, and every single time that it reprocs, it's going to refresh that 208 elemental damage absorption, and it's essentially just going to be free defensive mechanic. If I was a Hurricane Druid, it would be 1,000 elemental absorb because of the synergies for Cyclone Armor. If you see, it's Twister, Tornado, and Hurricane, so I would be up to like about 1,000 Cyclone Armor with the synergies. And you could also think about it as you don't really necessarily have to build Cyclone Armor. So the only thing that Cyclone Armor does for a Hurricane Druid is it increases the duration of Hurricane. And the thing about Hurricane is you're going to be casting it all the time anyway. I cast it all the time when I'm on my Hurricane Druid. I don't have one on D2R at this particular point, but I do have one for the original game, and that's what I was playing. To show off those particular mechanics. And I was hoping I could get the tornadoes to proc for you guys, but the tornadoes are just not coming out. Probably gonna end up dying here. Don't kill me. Cyclone Armor, do your thing. The Twister is not going to be as reliable because it's it's on striking. What is wrong with me? It's on striking, of course. Let's beat some stuff. Actually, you know what? Let's give it to the Merc and let him beat some stuff, shall we? That way I don't have to put myself in danger. Give me some Twisters, Merc. Which, by the way, he can also get the Cyclone Armor. There you go. There's the little twisters there. You see how everybody got stunned there for a second? It was just a quick micro stun. And the thing about it is it will help you get away. So keep that in mind when you think about twisters. Is that let's say you got into trouble. You're in the thick of it. You got into trouble. You accidentally I don't know, walked in too deep into something that you shouldn't have. And the twisters proc. The twisters are going to give you that small moment, that opening, where you can escape. And that's exactly what you're going to use it for. So the rest of the armor has +2 to all skills, which is obviously very nice for a druid. It has 100 to 150 to your mana pool, which is very, very nice. Keep in mind that the higher your mana pool is, the more you will regenerate. So when you have any other effects like Insight Polearm with Meditation, or you have mana regeneration with something like Mage Fists, that stuff is going to work better the more mana you have. And if you have a very small pool, it's not going to work very well. But if you have a very large mana pool, it's going to work better. And as you can see, my mana without this equipment on is only 220. And if I put this on, I'm at 377. And I put on the Sojas, which have 25% increased maximum mana, I go up to 614. And just to show you how much of an effect this has, when I take off the armor, I go down to 382. So having that higher mana has a huge effect even when you put on plus maximum mana equipment. So 150 to mana on this thing is actually really, really nice. We also have lightning resist 30%, which is just a throw-in from the Ort rune. We have magic damage reduced by 7, which is a throw-in from the Mal rune. And then we have 15% damage taken goes to mana, which again, when we were talking earlier about the Hurricane Druid getting in there and in the thick of it and using his twisters, using his tornadoes, using his hurricane, he's in sort of a pseudo melee range, and so he's going to get hit on occasion, and that 15% damage taken goes to mana is going to restore his mana pool all the time. So think about this armor as a highly defensive armor with Cyclone Armor, Twister, and a highly mana restorative armor with 150 mana. Damage taken goes to mana. So very, very nice, honestly, for an elemental druid. And honestly, very nice for a melee druid as well. If you were a shapeshifter druid, I could totally see using this. You would get free Cyclone Armor, you'd get Twisters on striking, you would get +2 Druid Skills, you'd get massive mana bonus, which would pretty much solve all your mana problems if you had any, and just all around a great armor. You know, and only a level requirement of what was it? 49. That's a pretty low level armor to make. If you happen to find a Mal Rune and you are a druid, this could be a very solid armor for you for quite some time until you're able to get to something a little bit stronger, like maybe Chains of Honor or an Enigma. And there's really not much more to say about this armor. It's just a very nice armor for druids. And if you were a non-druid character, you could potentially use this for the defensive effects, the Twister, the plus to mana, and the damage taken goes to mana. I could see a character using it specifically for those things. There may be a lot better choices, and if it wasn't for the Mal Rune, I could see it used more often, but the Mal Rune is a little bit cost inhibitive there. Anyway, as always, I do appreciate you guys and gals watching my videos, and Mr. NiNi and I, we're going to go on to the next one. So thanks for watching, and keep watching.